Before her name appeared in police reports, Anna Repkina Michel was known for her quiet ambition. She was building a life far from home. One message, one plan, one step at a time. On the day everything changed, nothing felt out of place. Conversations continued. The city moved as it always did. To anyone watching from the outside, it was just another ordinary day. But this story isn't only about a crime. It's about obsession, and how it can disguise itself as affection until it's already too late. Because by nightfall, Anna would be gone. And the truth behind her final days would shock everyone who thought they knew the full story. To understand how everything unraveled, you have to go back before the silence. Back to when Anna was still reaching out, still trusting, still believing the future she imagined was real. Because what happened to her didn't begin with violence. It began with connection, and a series of choices that, at the time, didn't seem dangerous at all. This is how Anna Repkina Michel's story really began. Anna was 27 years old, Moscow native, and she had crossed an ocean believing she was moving toward love. What police could not understand at first was simple and unsettling. Why was a woman from Russia lying dead on a dirt road in rural Oregon? That question would pull investigators into a story that stretched across borders and screens, into a relationship that burned hot and fast, and into a deception that ended in murder. And at the center of it all was a man who had promised her a future. Anna Repkina grew up in Moscow, a city defined by momentum. Life there moves quickly. Expectations arrive early. Independence is not optional, it's learned. Friends and family described Anna as intelligent and thoughtful. She was not impulsive. She didn't chase fantasy. She believed in building a stable life through deliberate choices. By her mid-20s, Anna had established herself as capable and self-reliant. But like many people at that stage of life, she felt something missing. Not excitement, not chaos, connection. She wanted partnership, real partnership, the kind rooted in honesty and effort, not convenience. So she turned to the internet, not recklessly but intentionally. Anna joined a Russian social networking site, believing that distance did not automatically mean deception. She believed that sincerity could exist anywhere, even through a screen. And one day someone answered. The man who caught Anna's attention lived in the United States. His name was William Hargrove. He was 26 years old, from Oregon, and at first everything about him felt reassuring. He was attentive, consistent, warm in his messages. He complimented her intelligence. He listened to her concerns. He asked questions about her life, her goals, her family. And then, he did something that made the distance feel smaller. He sent her flowers. From the United States to Russia. For Anna, it wasn't the flowers themselves that mattered. It was the effort, the intention, the feeling of being chosen by someone who appeared willing to cross boundaries for her. Their conversations deepened. Messages and calls became daily. Plans emerged. Hargrove spoke about a future together, about commitment, about marriage, and then he proposed and Anna said yes. To her, it felt extraordinary, a love story that defied geography, a connection strong enough to pull two lives together across continents. To the people around her, the speed raised quiet questions. But Anna was confident. She believed she knew what she was doing. She trusted him. What Anna did not know was that William Hargrove's life was not as open as he presented it to be. There was another woman. Someone still emotionally connected to him. Someone still present in his world. Someone who would later become central to the investigation. Anna did not know she was stepping into a love triangle. She believed she was building a future. In reality, she was walking into a situation defined by deception. And deception, once exposed, has consequences. In early April 2017, Anna made the decision that would change everything. She packed her belongings. She said goodbye to Moscow. She boarded a plane and flew to the United States to begin her life with the man she believed was her fiancé. She arrived in Oregon alone. She didn't speak English fluently. She didn't know the roads. She didn't know the people. She had no support system beyond William Hargrove. She trusted that was enough. For investigators later reviewing the case, this moment mattered deeply. Anna was vulnerable, dependent, isolated, and those conditions would shape everything that followed. In the first days after her arrival, nothing appeared overtly wrong. Friends of Hargrove saw the couple together. To casual observers, they looked normal, but small cracks were forming. Anna began to realize that pieces of Hargrove's life had been hidden from her. There were inconsistencies, emotional distance, the presence of another woman that could no longer be explained away. Digital records would later show Anna asking questions, trying to understand what she had walked into, trying to reconcile the man she thought she knew with the reality she was now seeing. The future she had crossed an ocean for no longer felt certain. And for William Hargrove, that uncertainty would become dangerous. On April 17, 2017, Anna Repkina and William Hargrove got into his vehicle together. They drove away from populated areas, away from help, away from witnesses, toward rural Oregon, toward isolation, toward a logging road where cell service fades and the world grows quiet. Anna Repkina was never seen alive again. 2 days later, her body would be found, and the truth, piece by piece, would begin to surface. By the time Anna Repkina arrived in Oregon, the life she imagined was already starting to fracture. What she had believed was a clean break into a new future quickly revealed itself to be something far more complicated. William Hargrove's world was not empty when she entered it. It was crowded with unresolved relationships, emotional contradictions, and secrets that had been carefully managed, until they weren't. In the days following Anna's arrival, investigators would later piece together a subtle but growing shift in her behavior. Digital messages showed confusion, concern, a need for clarity. She was beginning to understand that the man she had trusted had not been honest about the reality waiting for her in the United States. There was another woman in William Hargrove's life. Not a distant memory, not a closed chapter, but someone still present. This realization changed the dynamic between them almost immediately. Friends and acquaintances of Hargrove would later describe tension during that period. Arguments that seemed to come out of nowhere. Moments where Anna appeared withdrawn. She had left behind her family, her language, and everything familiar, only to discover that the foundation she believed she was standing on was unstable. For Anna, there was no easy exit. She didn't have a car. She didn't have money of her own in the US. She didn't have local friends she could rely on. Her world had narrowed to one person, and that imbalance mattered. Investigators later examined Anna's phone activity during those final days. Messages sent, questions asked, attempts to understand what had been hidden from her. She was not confrontational. She wasn't threatening to leave. She was trying to make sense of the situation she had been dropped into. But for William Hargrove, those questions represented something else entirely. They represented exposure. The unraveling of the image he had carefully curated for Anna. The possibility that his deception would no longer remain private. And that possibility escalated quickly. On April 17, 2017, Anna and William left together in his vehicle. Surveillance footage from various locations would later help investigators reconstruct their movements that day, though at the time, no one realized how important those moments would become. To anyone watching casually, it looked like an ordinary drive. Two people heading out together. No visible struggle, no obvious distress. But what investigators would later understand is that this drive was not spontaneous. It was deliberate. The destination was not a restaurant, not a park, not a public place. They drove toward a remote logging road near Alsea, Oregon, an area known for its isolation, dense trees, and limited traffic. For Anna, this location meant vulnerability. For investigators later standing at the scene, it meant intent. There were no nearby homes, no witnesses, no cameras, just dirt roads and forest. What happened next would only be reconstructed after the fact. Anna was killed on that logging road. Prosecutors would later argue that the murder was the result of escalating jealousy and control, a moment where deception collapsed and violence replaced accountability. Her body was left there, and William Hargrove drove away alone. 2 days later, on April 19, 2017, Anna Repkina's body was discovered. The shock wasn't just that she was dead. It was where she was found. A Russian woman, in rural Oregon, on a road few people even knew existed. For law enforcement, the questions came immediately. Who was she? Why was she there? And who had brought her? The answers would not come quickly, but one small piece of trash would change everything. Near Anna's body, investigators found discarded items. Among them was something that didn't belong in the forest. KFC receipt. At first glance, it seemed insignificant. Litter, left behind by someone else. But when investigators examined it closely, they noticed something critical. Timestamp. That timestamp placed the receipt just days before Anna's death, aligning precisely with the window of her disappearance. Suddenly, the forest wasn't just a dumping ground. It was part of a timeline, and that timeline was about to tighten. By the time the case reached court, the mystery was gone. What remained was accountability. William Hargrove was charged not only with murder, but also with identity theft and 2 counts of second-degree theft for taking money from Anna Repkina's bank account after her death. Prosecutors did not need spectacle. They had something stronger. A sequence of facts that fit together with unsettling precision. In the courtroom, they reconstructed Anna's final days. They showed how a woman traveled more than 5,000 miles for love. How she trusted someone who presented himself as attentive, gentle, devoted. And how that trust became a vulnerability in a place she did not know, among people she did not yet understand. The state argued that Anna did not die by chance. She died because she was in the way. Prosecutors laid out the timeline carefully. They presented the KFC receipt found near Anna's body, stamped just days before her death, anchoring her movements in time. They showed surveillance footage tracking William's vehicle as it drove with Anna toward the remote logging road in Alsea. They explained how phone records placed him with her during those final hours. Then came the weapon, the borrowed shotgun, William's fingerprints, the absence of anyone else's. No alternate suspect emerged. No competing narrative held. The evidence didn't point outward. It circled inward, closing tightly around one person. The defense attempted to introduce doubt. They questioned motives. They suggested uncertainty. But the facts were stubborn. Each attempt to deflect collapsed under the weight of digital records and physical proof. And then there were the lies. Investigators testified about William's shifting statements. How he minimized his relationship with Anna. How he denied traveling with her. How each denial unraveled when confronted with data that did not forget. The jury watched. They listened. They waited. When the verdict came, it was swift. William Hargrove was found guilty of murder. Guilty of identity theft. Guilty of stealing from the woman he claimed to love. In January 2020, the court sentenced him to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. The sentence carried finality, but it could not restore what had been taken. For Anna Repkina's family, The pain did not end with the verdict. They had lost a daughter, a sister, a woman full of plans, in a country far from home. They had endured months of not knowing how she died, why she died, or who was responsible. Justice, when it arrived, came heavy with grief. Anna's story resonated far beyond Oregon. It became a warning whispered quietly between families, about online relationships, about isolation, about the risks faced by women who cross borders for love, and the predators who exploit that hope. Anna Repkina was more than the way she died. She was ambitious, curious, brave enough to leave everything familiar behind in search of connection. Her life was not defined by a logging road or a courtroom transcript. It was defined by the courage it took to believe in something better, even when the world proved otherwise. Her legacy is not fear. It is remembrance, and a reminder that truth, however delayed, has a way of surfacing. If you found this case fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. We post crime case videos every night. Until next time, stay sharp, stay vigilant.